People are not experts. That means they have a limited understanding of your work. That also means they can't tell the difference between you and someone else with only half your expertise. And this is called the authority paradox. How can you be considered an authority if the public can't understand you? If they can't even tell. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to solve this problem for your content, for your coaching, for your videos, anything. And I'll show you the proof that this is a real problem that even the biggest names in the industry face. By the end of this video, you'll leave with a simple framework that allows you to prove your expertise without confusing your audience. It's a method that I call the commercial framework, and it relies on a hyper-specific 20 to 30 second window that will let you show your authority. Let me start by showing you how true this is. Think about the news headline that says, "Scientists discover new breakthrough." The headline is simple, but the actual research paper is not. People don't read the paper because they can't understand it. The language in scientific papers are intentionally formal and standardized. It's designed for maximum precision so that the language is clear as possible for other scientists. But this makes it hard for a regular person to read, not to mention that the research paper is long and nobody has the time to read the entire thing. This is the exact same problem you face because your audience can only understand the headline version of your expertise. They can't see or want to read the complex research paper of your experience that makes you truly world-class. So how do you differentiate yourself from these fake gurus that just repeat things and don't actually know what they're talking about? These people who sell courses, who sell templates, right? How do you show the world that you're a proper expert when the world can't even understand you or won't enjoy listening about the fine details in the first place? This is why lectures on YouTube have low views, because it's a really long, tedious, technical R, and it's not designed for content, right? There's a reason why Mr. Beast is a #1 YouTuber and the world's best professor is not. To fix this, you have to use a framework that has been perfected over decades, that's designed to capture attention for things people don't understand or care about. And that framework is called the commercial. The commercial framework is how ads are spaced on Instagram, on TikTok, Facebook, and every social platform. And now you're going to use it for your own brand, not to sell people something, but to show them your expertise. And here's how it works. You apply a 3-to-1 ratio to your content. And that means for every 3 parts, you have to give your audience value that they can understand. A simple story, a simple how-to, a mindset shift, something that builds content, something that looks nice with fancy cuts, a good video editing, extra energy like this, right? And you explain things as simply as you can within that time frame. Then, once you gain their trust and once you build rapport, you run a commercial. This is a concentrated 20 to 30 second burst where you get hyper specific. You don't teach, you show. You don't care if they understand. All that you do is you pull up actual client dashboards, you show the metrics, you use real industry jargon without simplifying it, you walk through a line of code or a complex automation you built, and these are things most of your audience won't even understand, and that is the point. This isn't for them to understand. It's for them to see that there's something underneath what you're saying, and that this is a powerful, unmissable signal that shows you operate on a level they don't understand. And that reason is why it's called a commercial. It's because you have a limited window before your viewer clocks out, before they stop caring and they stop watching your video. And here's an example of a commercial. TV networks found out that people can watch 1 minute of commercials for every 3 minutes of a show. Past 1 minute, viewers will start leaving the channel and watch something else. So before the minute marker, commercial ends and the show moves on, keeping people's attention. It's the exact same thing on social media. Every 3 to 4 posts you scroll, you will find an ad. TikTok at the start did not do this, so everyone loved using TikTok. And now that it had traffic, it did the same ad frequency as Instagram. It's the same for YouTube. Now YouTube can run 2 to 3 ads before a video starts because they know people will wait. Did you see what I did there? I just went on extreme detail about how the commercial framework originated. In a video about authority, I'm explaining the origins of a framework. Instead of this video being a simple how-to, because I've built some rapport with you, I can ask for your attention to watch this ad, which is my explanation of the commercial framework. Even though you don't need to know how it originated, you already know how the framework works. That's all that's important, right? And so when you ask these things from your audience, when you do this and you have a commercial to show your expertise, you separate yourself from every competitor because most people do only 2 things. They either only explain simply because they don't have the real expertise, or they only explain in detail because they don't know how to get high views, how to get retention rate, and how to make a nice punchy video where people want to watch, right? And so what you have is the amateur that's loud, and what you have here is the expert who thinks people want to listen to them just because they have the expertise. But in reality, you have to ask for attention. You have to deserve that attention. And so what happens is that the simpler explainer gets more views, but is not seen as the expert, especially the real experts. And the expert doesn't get enough views for the world to see that the person is the expert because no one wants to watch the boring details and technicalities. Your audience does not need to understand how smart you are, how complex your system works. They just need to see that it exists. Now, if you made it to the end of this video, I'm going to teach you something special and something more unique on top of this. Being an authority does not necessarily mean being an expert. I don't have this part out scripted, so bear with me if I'm a bit all over the place. But if you know Gordon Ramsay at all, then you know that he has a very famous scrambled eggs recipe. And in that recipe, he always tells people to salt after the egg is cooked because supposedly salting before the egg is cooked makes the egg wet. But in reality, this myth has been disproven by the likes of Kenji Lopez and reinforced by Andy Cooks, who also is a very reputable YouTube cook. And if you don't know who Kenji Lopez is more of a scientist than he is a cook, because while he is a very good cook, he was one of the original people who made blogs in 2006 about recipes, about common questions, and about myths. And he's made books where he talks about misconceptions in the culinary world. This guy actually tests things. And in his video, he even explains how the eggs are chemically different when you add salt before you cook it and after. The short explanation is that salt keeps the proteins stuck together and so the water doesn't go out and break. But here's the thing. Even if I know this, and even if Andy Cooks knows this and talks about it, neither of these two chefs were on Good Morning America, and neither of them have 9.7 million views. And so, authority is not just expertise, but it's also influence. When you can influence the direct people through popularity like Gordon Ramsay can, you become an authority in this space even if you're wrong. Because before people start to fact check and see what's right, they will believe what you say because you're famous. And that's just an unfortunate reality about how the world moves. People who have a lot of following, who yap a lot, who talk a lot, they have real influence, and influence is authority. Because influence makes people behave in the ways these people want. So if you're a real expert and you want to take something out of this example, it's that being popular and being liked is sometimes more important than being just an expert. So if you're wrong, say that you're wrong and make people like you, you're going to have to learn some public relations. You're going to have to learn how to be a kind of person people will enjoy talking to, people will enjoy talking about. Because if you want to be an authority in this space anyway, you need to have influence in some kind of way. So if you found this video helpful at all, it would mean the world to me if you subscribed, liked, or even commented below. Any questions you have, I'll answer it. If you want a longer conversation, you can have a conversation on Instagram. And if you want actual help on how you can implement the commercial framework into your own content, or if you think you haven't done it enough and you want me to review one of your videos, send me a message. I'll be more than open and more than happy to have a conversation with you. But aside from that, if you've already subscribed, liked, and commented, I just hope you have a good day.